Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas, the morning edition. It's a Thursday, and you know what? Every one of us gearheads had our first motorized vehicle at some point in time. I mean, it's a given. We're gearheads. We got a motorized vehicle. My first motorized vehicle, though, was when I was 13 years old, and I was a whizzer. I rode a whizzer. It was a Whizzer bike, a motorized bike. Yeah. Now, Whizzer bicycle engines became a line of products available to the public to convert your bicycle into a motorized bicycle, beginning in 1939. They stayed in business, the original company, from 1939 to 1965, and they were commonly sold as kits where people can convert their existing bicycle into a motorized bicycle. And that's exactly what I had. Now, I bought it from a neighbor, a kid that lived up the street. His name was Tommy Thompson. We lived in Mount Clemens, Michigan. And I was the terror of Suffolk Drive. I'll tell you what. He put the Whizzer motor on a Stingray style bike. Banana seat, ape hanger handlebars, the whole 9 yards. Seat was lowered down, half rear fender, no front fender. This was a chopper in the truest sense in miniature. And I was the up and coming Hell's Angel of the neighborhood. I would cruise up and down Suffolk Drive and around the area on this motorized bike for many an hour at a time. And I loved it. I had so much fun. I even got brave enough to drive to the local gas station, which was a Sinclair station, as a matter of fact, on 15 Mile Road. And I don't remember what the cross street was, but I just remember getting in trouble for riding it that far and crossing a major street to get to it. Now, of course, I walked it across the crosswalk like any respectful juvenile delinquent would at the time. Okay, so I didn't. Anyway, the Whizzer bicycle engine conversion on a bike was something exciting. Now, they began in 1939, but you got to remember 39, 40, 41. There's the end of it to an extent, because World War II broke out in 1941. And I'm sorry, guys, but everything came to a halt as far as production unless you had a war product and you were supporting the military. Well, Whizzer was not one of those, but in 1943, they petitioned the federal government to allow Whizzer Motors to stay in business, continue producing consumer products, which was a difficult task back in the time, unless it was essential. And what they did was they petitioned the government and said, look, you've got all these defense workers going to work. Wouldn't you rather have them get 40, 50, 60, 100 miles per gallon than driving their car getting 10 to maybe 15? And besides that, it took up less space. They won, and they were able to continue producing their conversions through the war. But in 1948, as prosperity returned to the United States, Whizzer came out with their first pre-assembled motorized bicycle. So here you could buy a factory assembled unit. Now, a lot of people said it was on a Schwinn. I'm not quite sure, and the historians don't really say which bicycle frame it was on, at least not the ones that I've seen so far. They stayed in production, building engines and producing bicycles through 1965. And at that point in time, there was little interest in motorized bicycles by the general public. You either pedaled yourself or you just forgot it. And you bought a motorcycle. Why get this little bicycle thingy? Well, in 1997, though, a company resurrected Whizzer motorbikes. And they were brought back into production in the same style as the original, with some technical improvements. Obviously, over those 30 years of not having production, there were improvements to be made, and this company did make them. The Whizzer company, as of 2014, though, was on temporary hiatus and stopped bike production, at least since 2009, I'm told. But I'll tell you what, you saw them around. They were using a vintage style Schwinn bicycle. and that was their basis for the assembly. They didn't have to produce their own bicycle. There was plenty of them out there, and Schwinn gladly jumped at the chance to get their bikes out there, especially in the motorized form, because guys like me remembered them when we were kids, and many of us, unlike me, never had one, but kind of aspired to have one. It's kind of like one of those bucket list things. You were young and you didn't have the money, and you wanted one of these things, and you couldn't get them back then, but hey, they're back. So you went after them, and they were fun. They still are fun. However, there's a lot of competition for them now, and you can buy conversion kits for gasoline engines on bicycles all over eBay and everywhere else. A couple $100, you got yourself a mini Harley. Well, all right, not quite, but you get the idea. It's cool. Motorized bicycles have always been cool, and I enjoyed the heck out of mine. And I even had a leather jacket I wore and gloves, and I got on this thing, and it was, like I said, Stingray style, so it was chopper-like, and man, I was so cool. The neighbors didn't really appreciate me, and there was one on Suffolk Drive there that would actually wait for me to come down the street, knew it was going to be right after school, and would block the sidewalk. I didn't ride on the street. I kept it safe. I rode on the sidewalk. We didn't have many people walking around. Good morning, Mark. How are you doing today? And Sean. But I rode on the sidewalk, and I kept the speed down. Well, it's a Whizzer. You had to keep the speed down. You didn't have much speed. But you know what? I was cool. It was interesting. It was fun. And you can resurrect them. Now, I went on eBay this morning to take a look and see if there's any kits out there or bikes, and there's hundreds of them out there. And on Facebook, there's even a page for the Whizzer bikes. You can get on there and check it out. But you know what? It's a part of Americana. It's a part of American history. Whether you were a hot rodder or a motorcycle enthusiast, it didn't matter. The Whizzers were cool. They were something unique at the time, and people gravitated to them. I'd gravitate to one right now if I had some place to put the thing, but you know what? They're fun. Think about it this way, guys. You guys that are racers, you're at the drags. You're trying to go from one end of the pit to the other end. You really don't like walking, but you have no other choice. Well, yeah, you do. A pit bike. Yeah, a Whizzer pit bike. A vintage-looking Whizzer pit bike. How cool would that be? And you go to hot rod shows. People are walking all around. There's cruise lanes. What are you cruising in? Your 10-mile-per-gallon car? No! Get in on a 100-mile-per-gallon Whizzer and whiz by, everybody. Come on. You could have fun. Enjoy it. Put the little streamers off the handlebars. A foxtail off the sissy bar. Ooh. The possibilities are endless. Whizzers. You could have a whole crew of Whizzers going down the cruise lanes. Can you imagine that? Here they come a-running, boom, 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 headed down the highway, yeah, on your Whizzer. Don't put a muffler on it. Make it sound mean. As mean as a 50cc single-cylinder motorcycle can sound. But hell, it's fun. Whizzers, they're part of Americana. They're part of hot rod and motorcycle history. They're available. You can still find them out there. Or other conversion kits that are made today by various companies. And have some fun. Find the vintage Whizzer. I mean, mine was cool, guys. Think of it. A Stingray with an engine. A little peanut tank across the top bar. High-rise ape-hanger handlebars. The long banana seat with the tall sissy bar. What could be cooler than that? I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got Gas, the morning edition, where we whizzed all over your dreams. You have a great day. Remember, Gas, the morning edition, brought to you by Service Tech Equipment. Get the equipment you need to work on the cars and Whizzers you've got in your garage. Service Tech, right here on Facebook. Check them out. Talk to Craig Heidenthal. Also, Moon Eyes. Don't forget the guys at Moon Eyes. They're still there. They're keeping the legend alive. Shige in Japan and Chico here in the USA. Keeping Moon Eyes products on the shelves, keeping them built, getting them ready for you for your hot rod, muscle car, or what have you. Hi, Rodney. How are you doing this morning? Rodney Allen Rippey just tuned in. So the Whizzer motorcycle, a significant part of hot rodding and motorcycle history. And I'm lucky. I was part of it back in back in the olden days. I was 13 years old, and like I said, Hell's Angel in training. I was cruising down. You guys take care. Have a great day. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas, the morning edition. Take care, folks.